The need for good ground was to remain separate, and it was so important because it was a burial place for good seed that could remain separated in a garment unspotted, one considered worthy of the walk. And this connected man as a branch to the one true vine, transforming houses of clay into eternal mansions. This was the soil that he went to prepare as a place for you. John 14:2-4. In my Father's house there are many mansions, and I go to prepare a place for you. This place prepared, of good ground, where all truth was surfaced, was the way, and the apostles were aware. Verse 4, and where I go you know, and the way you know. Verse 3 describes this place of branch connection as one where he would receive us, and it was considered a fruitful hill, one where I am, the vine says, and you may exist also. Isaiah 5:1. Now will I sing my well-beloved a song about my beloved, touching on his vineyard. And what many missed here was the analogy. John 15:1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. And this is the place prepared for you. And this song should have been music to our ears, a place where the Father prepared it, that we would be connected with his Son and transformed into eternal houses. And so he prepares. Verse 2, he fenced it and gathered out the stones. He planted it with the choicest vine. He placed a tower in it and made a winepress also. He looked that it should bring forth grapes, but it brought forth wild grapes. And this is another term for poisoned berries. Verse 4, what more could have been done in my vineyard that I have not done in it? What other way could God have prepared for man that would have separated him from his sin nature, allowing him to get to the other side, whole and complete? This is a good question, right? But seeing the results, this is not what he did. Verse 5, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge, and it shall be eaten up. This is the great scourge of consumption. The verse continues, and the wall will be taken down, and the soil will be trodden under the feet of men. When the wild grapes began to appear, Paul identified and attempted to stop this growth. Galatians 2:14. When Paul saw that many of them did not walk according to the truth of the gospel, he said to Peter in front of them all, why do you compel the Gentiles to live as the Jews? Verse 3 asks, are you so foolish, having begun in the Spirit, you would make perfect in the flesh? This is the reason that garments could never be connected, neither seed sewn together. Only one could be of the Spirit, and the other would represent the works of the flesh. It's like an apostle at the time, visiting and fellowshipping with the Gentiles, eating and drinking at their tables. But when the Jews enter in, he would get up and follow them to the kosher table. This connection was never to be made. Isaiah 5:8. Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there is no good ground anywhere on earth, that they would be planted alone. These wild grapes were allowed to grow into a connection that would cover the whole earth. But without a hedge, there was no protection. And without the wall, there could exist no salvation. And the removal of the tower stopped all mediation between God and men. Only the great winepress waiting in the end. Isaiah 18:5. Prior to the harvest, when the bud is perfect and the sour grape is ripening in the flower, he will cut off both the sprigs with pruning hooks and cut down and take away the branches. You see, the flower represents transformation that would never be met. The branches are the descendants of this plant. They were teachers and leaders through history, and the sprigs are the offspring of them, all met with the tools of a reaper. But these results can change, along with the hearts and the minds of men. And there is one described that would do this. Amos 9:13. Behold, the day shall come, says the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper. If you notice, this reaper is described as one that treads grapes and sows seed. These are all images given in the likeness as the Son of Man. In Matthew 13:37, Jesus says, he that sows the seed is the Son of Man. And in Isaiah 63:3, the treader says, I have trodden the winepress alone, and for helpers there was none. Then the reaper in Revelation 14:44, he that sat on the cloud is likened to the Son of Man, having a golden crown on his head and a sickle in his hand. And this is the finish line to the scourge, grapes of wrath, produced and allowed to grow till destruction. For the plowman to overtake the reaper, good ground would need to be found, and from it new wine would be produced. Isaiah 65:8. This says the Lord, a new wine when it is found, one formed in the cluster. And one says, destroy it not, for there is a blessing in it. So will I do for my servant's sake. I will not destroy them all. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.